Formula One heads away from Bahrain and on to Saudi Arabia. It's the Jeddah Corniche circuit for round 2 of the season. So Max Verstappen wins the season opener in Bahrain. Now we move on to Saudi Arabia before 2 weeks' time in Australia. A month off before we return to Baku in Azerbaijan and the first sprint race of the year. Back to back with Miami. 2 weeks, then we go to Emilia-Romagna. Monaco rounds out at the end of May. Spain in June. It's going to be one of the hottest races we've had there. Canada then on the middle of June as well before at the end. We go to Austria. Great Britain for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone on the 9th of July. Hungary and Belgium take us to the summer break. Following Belgium and the summer break, we go to the Netherlands, back-to-back with Italy. Then it's to Singapore, Japan, Qatar, United States, Mexico, Brazil. The first race ever at Las Vegas on the Strip, back, of course, since the 1980s. Then we go to Abu Dhabi to round out the season. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen leads by 7 points to Sergio Perez after their 1-2 in Bahrain. Fernando Alonso is in third position ahead of Carlos Sainz. Lewis Hamilton rounds out the top 5. Then it's Lance Stroll ahead of Russell, Bottas, Gasly, and Alexander Albon completes the point scorers so far. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way by 20 points to Aston Martin as well, 43-23. Mercedes on 16, clear Ferrari. Alfa Romeo, Alpine in a battle as well with Williams. AlphaTauri, Haas and McLaren yet to score points after a poor weekend in Bahrain. The final hour of practice then here at the Jeddah Corniche circuit for the 2023 Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Let's take a look at the Jeddah Corniche circuit, a 3.836 mile circuit, 27 turns in total, one of the fastest street circuits on the F1 calendar, and it certainly is one of the most difficult to get right. It is a fascinating track. Start the lap then on the run down towards turn number 1. You've got DRS at this point as well. Use it to your maximum. It's a hard braking left turn, 90 degrees. Slam the brakes all the way down. Third gear. Casually hit the throttle before a very tight turn 2 right-hander. Accelerate down through 3. Now it's 4, 5 and 6. The beginning of the sort of Mickey Mouse sections as well. The track now is on itself. It's quite hard to keep a rhythm flowing as well as you're bouncing off towards the barriers as high as you possibly can. Be careful not to exceed the track limits like that there, but the FIA are usually okay with it because it's such a difficult track to get right as well. They don't police it if you're forced off wide. Now into the banking hairpin turn 13, rising in as well. It's just a little bit of degree of banking, but it's amazing to get an overtake there. Hurtle down out towards 7th gear as well. Back up towards one of the tightest chicanes on the track. Slam on the brakes down to 4th gear, flip the car into the right, then the left as you're casually accelerating, opening up your DRS once more as you hurtle down. This is the most dangerous part of the track. It's a blind entry to the corner. This is where Schumacher crashed back in 2021, causing the red flag. Flick the car in, hope it stays, then bang on the throttle. Now you're flat out all the way down, turns 25, 26 as well. Flat out with the DRS. Of course, Leclerc and Verstappen playing chicken. Hamilton and Verstappen making contact. It's a famous part of the track. Hurtle down then. Slam on the brakes, play the DRS chicken, 3rd gear corner through turn 27, flat out now, 5th gear, 6th gear, 7th gear with the DRS open. You reach 8th gear as you cross the line now, and that is a lap of the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Hello everybody, and welcome to Saturday for the 2023 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We're in the daytime once again for the final hour of practice before heading into the night and the crucial qualifying hour. Alongside me in the commentary box is Jessica Ball and Omi as well. Two people who work at PSGL. One is the lead commentator on PSF1 as well, and Omi as well. You've been around everything and making your debut on the channel. Welcome to you both. First of all, Jess, start with you. Saudi Arabia, yesterday, race pace, everyone looked a bit too close together, but you've had the simulation data, you've been looking at it all. It's actually quite interesting how competitive the field actually looks.
Yep, it does, and obviously, of course, FP2 was the representative running yesterday, and we started to see some long runs. Of course, we have Red Bull that have been pretty much setting the standard all weekend so far, and even though Ferrari was struggling towards the end of the session in terms of obviously short runs, they're a little bit closer in terms of race pace, and it does look pretty promising for the two of them. So hopefully if they can get their reliability problems right, Ferrari should be very competitive this weekend.
Omi, coming in as well, we've had 5 practice sessions so far this year, and in every single one of them, in some order, it's been Verstappen, Perez and Alonso. I think we know who the top runners are coming into this weekend.
Absolutely, the two Red Bulls looking very strong as usual. Alonso and Aston Martin also doing very well so far.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to having you join the commentary team as well and making practice 3 commentary debut, and then we'll hopefully grab you around some of the other sessions throughout the year as well as more team members come apart as well. I'm just looking, Nico Rosberg is back with the Sky F1 team as well, so it doesn't even look like that we can get rid of him from week to week because he was in Bahrain as well. Apparently he won a 2016 championship or something rather than same machinery. Looking in then as well, tyre compounds in this session as well are going to be a little bit thing to look at because we're in the day running and it's a higher track temperature. They tend to use more of the hard compound tyre, so practice 3 does become irrelevant slightly because we're not going to see any fast runs, we're not going to see any qualifying runs. It's all going to be about just seeing how long the hard tyre can go, Jess, and I think it's slightly disappointing that we can't just shove all the sessions into the night.
Yeah, because I think FP3 usually tends to be meaningless for us to watch in a way, but I think it gives the teams one final chance to make sure their setup is ready for Q1, because obviously when qualifying starts, the Parc Fermé rules will be on, and I want to see if people choose the soft or the mediums as their first tyre choice for tomorrow's race. And I wonder if anyone else will go for the hards for the start as well. I think we'll see kind of a mixed bag, to be honest. And I know there could be some safety cars, so there could be people going on the softer tyre compound compared to the hards. But it's interesting with the tyre windows, actually, that it's not much of a difference if you start on the softs, if you start on the mediums to go onto the hards, really. And the hards realistically could be last 20 around about majority of the race from lap 23 onwards, I should say.
Yeah, and Jess will be joining us in the race commentary as well tomorrow alongside Josh. Megan, at the moment, if you're new here, you didn't watch yesterday, I've been exposed to somebody who has COVID. I have tested negative and feel absolutely fine. And luckily, I was worried yesterday I was starting to feel effects, but luckily I think that was just with the heating and the commentary box and the stress of it. I'm feeling very much refreshed this morning. Megan, however, hasn't been. She's been exposed to me, obviously being in the same household, but her friend at college had a nasty cold and lost her voice midweek. That's now passed on to Megan, and she has a very sore throat at the moment, so she has no voice, so she's not going to be with us today in qualifying. So that's me and Richie with Josh taking us through qualifying, but she will hopefully be with us in the race tomorrow. If not, the commentary team will be myself, Jess and Josh, so the 3 J's to take us through, which is, I think, very fun. But tell you what though, before we've got about 50 seconds, Omi, just coming in, what was your takeaway from Bahrain, your biggest surprise sort of from the opening weekend?
Well, I do have to say Aston Martin first of all. They've obviously been it was a bit of a surprise, but obviously we kind of did get an idea of it after testing and after a few practice sessions with Alonso being near the front. So, but yeah, still a bit of a surprise for me that it looked like on race pace. We obviously knew about Ferrari, about their tyre degradation, but I did kind of feel I didn't expect them to be ahead of Ferrari on race pace as much.
Let's give you the details then for this weekend. Qualifying coming up at 4:45. In between practice 3 and qualifying, you can join myself, Synthel and Richie for the sprint race from Formula 2. And then, of course, tomorrow the sprint race is on at 1 and then the Grand Prix as well starts at 4. Here we go then. Here's free practice 3. On the shores of the Red Sea, daytime is slowly creeping away to the evening, but we've got one more hour of practice for the 2023 STC Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So far this weekend, it's been the Red Bulls clear out front. Verstappen, Perez 1-2 in the opening 2 sessions. Alonso being in 3rd position. Not much has changed from the first race of the season back in Bahrain. Now we're into our second round and our second leg of 4 races in the Middle East in 2023. The 6.174 kilometre circuit, the Jeddah Corniche circuit. That record of 130.734 set by Lewis Hamilton in 2021. It's a flat circuit along the shore lane, 2.48 metres, 27 turns, 207.9 mile per hour is your maximum speed. Pirelli bringing their middle range tyres. It's the C2 white hard, the C3 yellow medium and the C4 red soft tyre. And the daylight is just about beginning to sink away. The desert sand still surrounding the city of Jeddah. Track temperatures at 43 degrees. Air temperature is at 27 degrees as well. And we're all looking set for what is going to be quite an interesting day. But Jess and Omi are joining me in the commentary box for this session. Partially cloudy out there, but we're not expecting any rain. But we've seen stranger things here as there's a plane going over. Hopefully no missiles like last year. But it's all getting ready. And it's going to be business day, Jess, isn't it? For practice and quali.
Yes, I think there's certain teams that I feel like were lacking yesterday, like Alfa Romeo and McLaren, for example. So I think this is really going to be the session for them to find their feet a little bit, find where they've lost the time from the first 2 practice sessions, because they don't have that long until qualifying starts in just over a few hours' time. So they don't want to be the ones knocked out of Q1. So if they get their issues sorted out now, then that's really going to help them going into qualifying.
And Omi as well, we were just talking in the pre-show as well about all the differences we've seen in the opening with Aston Martin looking quite strong. I think the weakest team we have to say is definitely Mercedes. We heard Russell yesterday saying, we've got to do changes, it's not good enough. Overnight, nothing can be done. But this is a track, realistically, where the car should be at its most best of the year. It's a smooth circuit, no proporting effects, and it's still not going right for Mercedes.
Yep, absolutely. Still not going right. And coming into the season, they actually had quite a lot of hype, and they haven't been able to deliver to any of it yet. Being behind Ferrari, Aston Martin, Red Bull still, and Alpine were also looking strong yesterday as well.
Yeah, Alpine, I think, just has been the bigger surprise after being nowhere in pre-season testing, and I put them last in my pre-season guide. And then coming into this weekend, Ocon and Gasly, both inside the top 6. Gasly was, I think, Gasly was 5th in the opening session as well. They're looking really strong again, and their long-run pace actually is good too, as Amy says.
Yeah, it was like that last season as well. Alpine had similar results in Bahrain. What one driver did well and the other driver did not. Whereas in Saudi Arabia last year, we saw, remember, Fernando Alonso and Ocon, they were battling for position in the Pink Panthers. I really enjoyed that. So I really hope we'll see something similar between Gasly and Ocon. Remember Gasly starting at the back in Bahrain last week, and then 2 weeks ago, and then he went on to finish 9th in the end. But I think Ocon this weekend for him is going to be redemption, because he had loads and loads of penalties. One of them, I think, was got more clarification from the FIA. which was understandable. Still don't understand it myself with the gridding slots and stuff like that. But I think Ocon will put hopefully Bahrain behind him because he knows he's got the pace here, and hopefully he can get his first point of the season, because Alpine, I think compared to McLaren, Alpine are doing better at the moment.
Green lights on, let's head down to the pits and Karun Chandhok.
Looking like a winning machine, although at the moment some last-minute setup changes for last year's pole man, Crofty, as you were just saying. Sergio Perez did an outstanding job, didn't he, to take that pole position here, his first career pole. But they're doing a reasonable amount of setup changes quite close to the start of the session, I have to say. You know, well, the session has officially started, although nobody's headed out on track. We've got a green light, but no engines fired up down here in the pit lane. The car, you could see, they've still got the weighing scales out, which is basically to check the setup and the corner weights of the car and make sure that it is all in the window that they want. No sense of urgency here in terms of trying to get the car out on track. We wander over, JD, with the camera to this side of the garage. Max Verstappen, I don't think, is even in the garage at the moment. The car, they're completely prepped and ready to go, so no setup changes going on his car. The mechanics all standing with their arms crossed is normally a good sign of peace for these guys. Maybe we'll just have a quick wander down, Crofty, since you haven't got cars to talk about on track.
There's nobody on track at all.
Okay, excellent, right. Ferrari as well, neither driver in the car at the moment, no tyres there, although I can see, actually, sorry, I lied, Charles Leclerc has got into his car
Carlos
just now as
too.
we speak, and one of the engines has gone out. You were talking about the program for this morning. I think Mercedes have done a whole bunch of setup changes. If we wander down towards Mercedes, we can see they did a whole heap of experimenting they talked about yesterday, didn't they? Between the two cars, trying a variety of setups. And Lewis Hamilton's car, they've still got the setup scales out, so again, he doesn't look like he's heading out anytime soon. But I did see them put in a reasonable amount of fuel earlier when I was walking down. They had the fuel pipes connected to the right-hand side of the car, and so I don't expect any super fast lap times at the early part of this session, and they are clearly trying to validate what the setup changes were made overnight. So they'll have a reference from yesterday, they'll have a reference of the track temperature, of course, now about 10-12 degrees hotter, and they will be trying and understand the work done in the simulator overnight, if that's going to benefit them on track today.
Thank you, Karun. And Omi, that's what we were talking about as well, wasn't it? They're going to do long runs now in this session, and if Mercedes are fueled long, they're going to have a lot more pace in the race data. I think they've sort of abandoned qualifying for the entire year. They're nowhere near with that concept car, anywhere near pole positions or anything like that. They're focusing purely on race data.
Yeah, so they'll be running most of their things will be about the race, because I don't think they're looking good in qualifying. So I think they're gonna just do the best they can in the race. And
Just hearing Fernando Alonso on the radio as well coming through. Jess as well. How long, we were just seeing as well Lewis Hamilton, we saw a shot of him coming into the garage when Karun was down there in the pit lane and we were doing our introduction as well. He was coming in. Unusual, just not see Angela Cullen alongside him as well. And social media being social media, a whole lot have been drummed up about, oh, why she left, what's happened, all that lot. But we kind of knew something was going on, because every single time Lewis Hamilton posts a shirtless pic on Instagram, somebody leaves Mercedes. It seems to be a running joke at the moment. And Angela has left. And do you reckon that's going to affect Lewis Hamilton? Because they've lost James Vowles, they lost James Allison, who's slightly coming back now to the sport. I saw one person on Twitter describe it as the HMS Titanic. Everybody is abandoning the ship before everything goes down. What do you think's happening with Mercedes? Are they in a rebuilding phase, or is it just crumbling around them?
I think it's going to be tough, because obviously Lewis joined the team 2013, 10 years ago today, and they had a very strong unit. There's been so many people in the team that have been there for a while, and I think losing James especially, I think, was a huge blow to Lewis, because James really helped with the strategy, and obviously the memes Valtteri, it's James, was a prominent talking point when obviously Valtteri was at Mercedes, and that's what helped them win so many titles. And having that just support network of of her around Lewis. I think it's going to be hard for Lewis to get used to without him. I wonder how he's going to feel compared to last season, where he just sometimes downplayed it, and then after that he was fine. But I'm just a bit worried about the team. But we have seen teams come back after losing key personnel, so it's not over for Mercedes yet. But I think it's a bit worrying that Lewis is struggling a bit more compared to his teammate George Russell.
Yeah, and I think Russell as well, we were seeing him flying last year, and he had an off weekend, yes, in Bahrain, Russell, but finishing, was he, 7th position behind Stroll, he finished 6th, and Hamilton 5th. But I've got confidence that Russell will get the most out of that car, as Lewis will. But Lewis always likes to run the development programs. He likes to run as much as possible and build the team back up. It's his type of driving. But I don't think it can last forever about that. But I do want to return to Mercedes, but we just saw Lando Norris coming out. I'm fascinated because, Jess, we talked about this in pre-season testing about Lando, and I want to get Omi's view on this too. So, Omi, Lando Norris, bitter blow with Bahrain not being there. Do you see him staying at McLaren, or will he try and exit his contract? And if so, where do you think he could go in the field? If Mercedes could have a seat if Lewis decides to retire. Red Bull's practically a revolving door, even though they say Perez is stable. Ferrari could be the same. Where do you think is going to be a good fit for Lando if he decides to leave McLaren?
I do have a feeling that he is going to get tired at some point, because McLaren were aiming to get into the top, get basically into contending for victory. But however, Aston Martin are kind of now being able to do that. But McLaren, I think, are going downwards. So I think he is going to try and move. Aston Martin could be a good option, but do you think they're going to get rid of Fernando Alonso? Stroll, they're not really going to get rid of him either. And then Red Bull, maybe if Perez has a bit of an off season, or Mercedes as well if Hamilton decides to move on. But there's also some rumours around him and Ferrari and Leclerc. So it's quite interesting in the driver market.
I'll tell you what, you've thrown a great shout out there with me about Aston Martin. And Jess, I want to get your view on that, because we were again talking about that in pre-season testing, about how Djokovic should be in the car. And we had George Morgan talking about it as well. Would Lando and Fernando be a good mix together and just get rid of Stroll? I mean, I know that's probably not going to happen, but if we could just get rid of Lance Stroll in an ideal world, would it work, the Fernando-Lando situation? It'd be great for the puns, but still, is that an option?
Well, I think there's been some discussion on which team Lando would get to if McLaren are not pulling their weight, and I think McLaren has got to be worried if Lando's thinking about another team. And obviously, Fernando moving to Aston Martin, we thought it wasn't a good move at the time because Aston Martin were not the fastest car. They were nowhere near the midfield, but this season they've already proven to be pretty much second or third compared to Red Bull and Ferrari, which I have to say it's amazing. But I think usually with Lando, he wants to be in a car that can win races. He almost won in the track that must not be named, but the weather changes, the strategy didn't go his way. He got pole as well, so he's capable of winning. He just doesn't have the car in front of him. And if Aston Martin continue to have a good car, then I think we can see wins from Lando in the future. I think it would. He's got to think long and hard about this. He can't just make a decision straight away if he decides McLaren's not for him. He's got to think about his long-term aspirations as well, because he'll be going into a brand new team, and it may be revolved by one driver. But I can't see Stroll leaving anytime soon. His dad is the boss of the team, for goodness sake.
Yeah, it's quite like me leaving this channel, isn't it? It can't happen because I run it all, but still. Or you leaving PSGL, Jess. That'll never happen. You say that now, I'm getting worried.
Not.
Yeah, I'm getting worried now. Let's just go through the chat quickly while Sky have gone to a break. So we've got the T-feed option in our ears as well with the pit lane channel. Only two drivers have been out on the track, Stroll and Alonso, both doing 2 minutes banker lap time. So let's go to the chat. Hello, says Josh, who's our pit reporter as well. Hello, Josh. You'll be with us in qualifying. Matthew Owens, who I work with at USON, where you can tune into the race tomorrow as well on USON, says, good morning from the States. Everyone have a great weekend. Matthew, have a great weekend to yourself, Matthew, as well. And look forward to your NASCAR call tomorrow as well. And you're in the middle of March Madness over there in the States, well, on USON, so I highly improve that. As that's a point, Jess, you will also be on USON tomorrow as well, so that's something as well on the radio in America. Adam,
Very nice.
Adam, I work with at Grid Network, well, used to because he's left now, says, good afternoon, Josh. Hopefully Megan feels better soon. Actually, she's done a COVID test, obviously, but walked past her this morning, she just waved because she can't talk that much, and then she got angry because I made her do a COVID test. Hello, what is Lewis wearing, says Josh. I think it was like a sort of like a gilet, but with big armbands as well, like what they called back in the 80s. You used to wear them with your shoulder pads and that. Well, that's the one. Hello to Synthil. We'll see him in around about an hour's time for Formula 2. And he says, I swear if this track was in Europe, I could have confidently said this is my favourite track. Yeah, if it
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree, because unfortunately we can't, because it's just nothing but drama and incidents. Luckily, this year is actually passing without incidents, touch wood, if I can find wood and chairs at the side of the commentary box. Adam says, hopefully sometime this year we can work on a street together. Oh yeah, I will get Adam and Synthil together in Miami, Adam. Miami was one you on.
Yes.
First of 3 races in America, and where hopefully some of the Grid Network team and the USON team come on, and the Indy 500, don't forget, will also be with USON for the qualifying streams, I think, as last year. For now, it's still a shared first for Baku and Spa about this track. And Richie says, afternoon, Josh and Jess, and obviously to Omi as well. Well, you went in the box just then. And Scott said, do you have any racing experience yourself, Joshua? I've done a fair bit of karting, and that's about it, really. And all I like to do is go really, really, really fast. But I'm actually very competitive, so I think it's a pretty much good sign I'm on this side of the microphone and not in the car, because if you might remember, I missed the first practice in Austin last year because I was actually go-karting at a new indoor kart track. And me and my friend... my other friend Libby, bless her, was really, really quick, but wasn't in the same competition as my friend, me and Luke were, and there was boost enabled, and he shot past me when we started because my kart didn't get going first of all. But then we both had free track, we both never lifted, and I was using the boost everywhere, so I still say I was faster than him. As well. I want to hear from Jess Nomi's racing experience, but Karoon's down at Alonso.
Well, that's the mark of Lance Stroll. They've come back, as you can see, all looks pretty calm at the moment. But when he first came back, Luca Fabato, who's on the extreme right of the pit wall there, I think he's engineering director is the official title, but you can see him on the right next to Mike Crack, the team principal. He popped down to come and have a look underneath the front wing. So I don't know if Fernando ran over a curb or something, which maybe gave them a bit of concern. But he popped over. The mechanics had a good look around it as well. But they've kept the same wing on. So clearly, whatever they've seen on the data, whatever they've seen physically underneath the car is all good. Interesting to see they've kept that lower downforce configuration front wing here. They had a different spec in Bahrain last week, which is up on the stands, but they've kept in fact, we could show you, this is the higher downforce one here. You can see the bigger curve on this top plane. So yeah, they've stuck clearly, Nico, you were talking about the results of the wind tunnel and how it has to correlate with the track being so important. Clearly, no issues at Aston. Whatever they're seeing in terms of development that they can bring to the track is working, and the drivers are happy with what they've got.
Thank you very much, Karoon, as well. And yeah, let's get actually Jess and Omi as well. Have you two got any racing experience, Jess? Have you done anything go-karting?
I've done a bit of karting, actually. I'm not very good. Every 6 months, I race in the league, and we just meet with each other every 6 months to go to a karting venue. And we're going actually next week to Thruxton on Saturday, which should be fun. I completely forgot that on the F1 TV, the team radio's a bit loud. Sorry, so I had to mute a bit. But yeah, so we go there every 6 months. I think the last time we've been was in September. We went to Larkhor in Scotland. That was brilliant. We spent like a few days in Glasgow, which was awesome. Apart from that, no major racing experience in real life. Obviously, I do a bit of sim racing every week.
That's true.
I think that's the most I get from that experience. And it kind of does help. Again, not very good, but I'm getting there,
I'll tell you what, though, Jess, just quickly, considering I don't know how good you are at PC expert there, because you've said it before, but I'm just having a question here. How good is a... Hang on a minute, I'm trying to find where it is now. Ryzen 5 or 7, which is equal to an i7 or i9. Is that good or bad? I don't know. Because...
No clue.
I've no idea either, because a friend of mine is lending me his work laptop in order to do some editing for him. And I was wondering if it was powerful enough to stream the game. So I could take over from Richie, so he can have a little bit of a stream break, but I've no idea, so we'll work on that. Omi, what about you? Any racing experience as well? Karting, single-seaters, anything?
Karting, yes. I've done a bit of that in the past. Other than that, not really. I used to do league racing, now I don't do it. I just stick to commentary now.
I agree. Commentary is the easier thing as Russell does a 1:30.476. Hamilton second, 16 thousandths off the pace. Gasly's third. Verstappen fourth. Ocon fifth. Then with Bottas, Zhou, Hülkenberg, Piastri, the 9 drivers who have set representative times so far. I'll tell you what though, considering all 3 of us commentate on PSGL, to my knowledge, we don't do WRR together, but we should do, Jess, a PSGL karting event. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Honestly, the
PSGL commentators karting event.
Yeah.
That'll a meet up as well to get to meet all the commentators
Yeah.
in there. What we should do, I know you talked about it in the last race of season 32, I think it was. We should do a commentators race on F122.
Yeah, I think
That will be brilliant.
And now as well that
Crossplay.
I might be able to, crossplay as well, because we get all the PS lot in as well. Because I think there's round about, with the crossplay, there's round about 20 of us, isn't there, with it all? And there's 9 PC leagues that we broadcast, there's 9 PS, so there's at least 20 of us to get the going, 18 max, so that's perfect. And George...
Yeah, there's quite a few people that race.
Yeah,
there's
there is,
quite a few people that race as well, and I'm not the fastest. I'll be near the back.
I think...
Same with
Go on, Amy.
Yeah, I'll be at the back as well. Actually, I don't race
Back
anymore.
buddies.
But I haven't raced in such a long time in terms of anything like that. I don't, not since end of F121 have I raced anything online. So I might be very, very rusty. I mean, I do the lap attacks, but that's not keeping your eye on a lot, is it? So that'd be fun. But yeah, I think George Morgan's not allowed to do it because he's got a sim rig and he would just win everything. I mean, he was on there for 6 hours yesterday. So no,
That's crazy.
He can't do that.
Yeah, I was watching it.
I thought you right there. How did that go? Because I got told during the commentary that George Morgan's been streaming for 6 hours. I was like, what? How's he doing that?
Yeah, he was just doing my team.
Oh, was he with somebody
What
else?
was
My
it?
driver. My
Yeah.
driver. Oh,
Ah.
yeah. Spain.
Oh.
I don't think I would want to do that for 6 hours. I mean, I struggle with Le Mans to do the commentary on that. Albon's on the lap time at the moment with a good first sector, but he was a bit wide coming into turn 13 at the hairpin, nearly brushed the wall as well. Thinking about it then as well, let's have a look. Josh says Thruxton's, of course, his local track.
Hey.
Oh, and Josh says, I've got Ryzen 5, it's pretty good. Josh, if yours can stream F122, and if you can play it, let me know, because then I can get it on there and get that sorted. It was, I was in there for a bit as well, it was good. Oh, in George's chat, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm hopefully, George's calendar is very busy, but I'm hopeful to get him on something this year, not just testing. But it was fun having him in the session. I made him...
You should get him for one race.
Yeah,
you should get him for one race, Josh.
I want him in the box for a race, but the problem is, it's like, who calls the start? It's quite like, how do we do that? It's kind of like after you, but...
Because you usually do the starts, don't you? So,
Yeah.
like...
I think we might have to tag team it somehow as well. Like, I get the lights, he then does turn one, and we just tag team. I don't know, we'll have to think about that. But I do want him for a race. I so want him in the commentary box for a race. That'd be fantastic. And practice was, pre-season testing was quite good. Time's coming in now.
Hang on.
Yeah, go on.
Stappen 129 on the hearts.
Yeah, that's what I was noticing. And he's correct as well. So, he's mega.
That is quick.
I'm trying to think. If
Very
that,
quick.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, I keep talking over you. Go on.
No worries, I was just saying very quick.
So he's 2/10 quicker than Gasly on the soft. Some lot out there on the mediums too. So we've got Piastri, Sainz, Leclerc, Hülkenberg, Magnussen out there on medium compound tyres. Zhou, Bottas Albon, Ocon, Hamilton, Russell, Gasly on soft. And then, Stroll's put the hards on. And so is Verstappen, as Jess said, with the top 2.5 tenths clear, closer to 3 tenths clear of the board. So that's getting close. So Noda's beginning to push on and out laps through the Mickey Mouse section as well. Turns 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as well, all through and back. And I tell you what though, guys, from races we've commentated on here at Jeddah for esports as well, because it keeps cropping up nearly every season, it is a very hard track to master on the F1 22 game. It must be even harder in real life. I hate it. It's to drive, I hate it. I don't know about you two.
Well, to be fair, the first time I raced Jeddah on the F1 game was on the end of the game cycle on F1 21 because we did all the tracks and suddenly one league decided, let's do Jeddah for the final race of the season. How about that? And yeah, it had a nice flow to it. I was all right in qualifying, but I did very rubbish in the race. I hate racing it, but I absolutely love commentating it. I think one race went to mind was season 30 PC when I was doing PC F2 for half the season. Oh, that race was just excellent. My voice was dead. I was commentating with Chris Buxton, King Kodiak, and it was just one of my favourite races. And I keep saying now and again, please come back to Jeddah because I loved it. I kind of wish I was back on PC, but my PC will keep crashing if I ever run the F1 game on there, so that's why I stick to PS.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'll tell you what though, we'll have to, if my system works, and like, you know how we're doing right now with the stream, if that works, we'll have to grab you in as a third commentator for F2 alongside me and Richie for a weekend, because then definitely gives our voice a break. I don't know actually if you saw the EML League last night as well, the Challenge Cup. Bogdan Moldovan on the inside literally did a through goes Hamilton manoeuvre. It was identical, as Sainz getting a lot of D-rating on the power, so when he's downshifting, the engine isn't giving him enough throttle power, and the car's blipping a lot as well with the D-rates. So he's not good there. Very wide from Perez. Ocon's gone third. So, well, coming to you, Omi, what do you think of the track then? Is it one of your favourites? Is it okay, or do you just absolutely hate it? Both in terms of watching, commentating, and driving it.
Driving I was pretty alright. Commentating, I was just commentating actually on Thursday for WR, but it's a good track to commentate on. A lot of action, but your voice is normally dead after it.
Yeah. And I can feel a sore throat coming in already as well, so that's going to be entertaining. I swear it was the heating. I'm putting it down to the fact that the heating keeps going on at 6 a.m. in the morning, and with my broken nose permanently, if nobody knew that, it's attached at the top, so it actually, I can't smell properly, so, which is great during COVID, because every 5 seconds I thought, oh, I've got it. But because I sleep with mouth open, it kind of dries you out a bit, so I'm blaming the heating. Perez has got on top 129.417, and yeah, so we do all work on WR as well, because I stand in sometimes in the F2 with Richie at WR. But yeah, so all the PSGL, all WR, that's fantastic. So,
well, I used to do WR, but not anymore.
Oh, have you left, Jess?
Yeah, ages ago.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, that's how up to date I am.
Yeah, because I did a PC on Sundays, and that was when I had Panto rehearsals, and obviously now I sit to PlayStation. Obviously, they've got the PlayStation guys already, and they run on the days which I'm racing or on league, so I can't do it, unfortunately. But yeah, I think I did WR PC Tier 2 back on the F1 2021 game, and that was a lot of fun, let's just say. But again, I think there was a few races where my game kept crashing. But there we go.
I'm just gonna pop up to the main camera in a minute on N4, because Matthew Owens wants to see my commentary notes for this weekend. So there they are. Information on all the drivers, best qualifying positions and all sorts as well. And that's my little Bible I'll have with me during the weekend, as Lewis Hamilton's gone off the track down at turn 8 as well. But that's my little Bible. And then on the other side of it, tyres for the race that I need to look at as well. And then, of course, you've got the race director's notes as well. And I've got the F2 notes just on the other side of the page. And
what version is the race director notes on?
Version 3 now.
Oh.
Yeah, version 3. So it's gone mad. And, of course, the commentary box wall is littered with notes as well, well. But I'll have to tell you what, in qualifying in the build-up, I'll get the camera on and I'll show you around the commentary box. I did it in pre-season testing, but everybody likes to know what notes I've got up in the wall. I've got the driver stats for F1 and F2 here with teams and drivers, and then the F2 driver stats. Information on little fast facts I put on the wall. Directly below the commentary monitor, there's a track guide, and then there's a pit lane map the other side of it as well. So it's pretty much laid out exactly how we need it at the moment. But yeah, that's a good idea actually, because Matthew makes some fantastic notes over at USON for the commentaries as well. Let's have an idea then. Jess, what are your notes like when you do commentaries on PSGL and that? Are they literally quick notes, or how detailed do you go?
I try to go as detailed as I can. I don't use all of the notes. So
Yeah.
I start off my notes with the information, like just bullet points about the track, like how long it is, DRS zone, stuff like that. Then I have the track map. Then I have the tyre length and strategies. Then I have some notes about the drivers, more info about the track when it was when it first used in Formula 1, stuff like that, and some racing moments from previous years as well, just in case we get a lull, or if I commentate on a hot lap, I can say this is where Lewis made a move or something like that. But yeah, I try to keep my notes as detailed as possible, but 9 times out of 10 I don't use all of it in my commentary. It's just good to be prepared though for anything. I spend a lot of time prepping for pre-season though, more than anything, so I can know about the drivers. What after pre-season I still prepare, but obviously not as much as pre-season, because there's quite a few new rookies in PSF1 this season, so I had to find out a bit more about them and what their expectations was. There was quite a lot of rookies in there, so yeah, I just you don't want to look at my notes because only I can understand them.
I've gone to typing mine because it looked neater. I couldn't stand my handwriting, so I've gone to typing mine.
I type mine as well because my handwriting's rubbish.
Yeah. Although sometimes if I like on my track map, I haven't done it yet. I'll do it tonight once I get all the speeds from qualifying. I will go through and put like gear 6, 350 kilometers an hour, something like that, and I'll draw around it and it'll all look pretty. I haven't done it just yet.
George Russell
is
only 1/10 off of Perez.
Oh God, he's quite quick, isn't he? The first sector, 32.4.
Yeah, he was purple sector 1, but he messed up in sector 2. He's going through the back straight. Then do you know that they moved the DRS zone in the final corner to avoid the DRS? I can't remember what they called it, to avoid like people braking and letting people through and stuff. I think it's just about here is when the DRS is activated. So Russell up to the line now. Oh, he lost so much time in that final sector.
He
goes
by
5th
Alonso
though, Josh.
Yeah, blocked by Alonso, wasn't he? So he didn't have a lot. And I think you were right. Made a mistake somewhere in the middle sector we didn't see. Time, not position, improved. Still 5th with a 1:30.093. Yeah, Omi, coming to you. What's your notes like then in the comment box for when you do WR, PSGL? Do you go detail, or is it quick notes pre-season or something?
Well, it depends how much I know of the drivers. So for some leagues I might have a lot about the drivers, have obviously the stats and stuff, and a bit about real life. As Jess said, some moments from real life, and also I like to have every single winner of that specific Grand Prix.
Oh, that's a great idea.
You're already doing better than me in that aspect. I don't have all winners. I always have I had the first and the last winner of the real life Grand Prix, and that's it.
My little book, which I haven't got this year, I have them for years, and I do. I've got the 2021 version here and the 2022 version, but usually I get it for my birthday, and that's not until April, so I won't get it until Baku. But I have in that little book, it's the Formula 1 2022 Teams, Drivers, Tracks, Records by Bruce Jones. It's the Grand Prix guide, and it gives me all the information on the tracks as well. So like, where are we? We're at Jeddah, which last year was round 2. So previous winners, Lewis Hamilton. Email as well if you'd like it as well. There isn't one. But if you want the email address for Imola, it's info@autodromoimola.it. So yeah, and I think I've even got phone numbers in here for them as well. So it's really important stuff that they give out. And you can literally, it's like if you go to the works or things like that, it's like £6. You get all this. It's fantastic, and yeah, it gives you just strats like most wins in one season, 13. That's wrong now because it was now
15
maxed with 15.
now.
Yeah. So you see, that's going to get updated. Formula records starts Raikkonen 349. Has anyone beaten that just yet? looking at the board, 356 Fernando Alonso, see, so mostly in F1 history. So that'll get changed. So it starts every year as like a basis point on what to make your stats at. And yeah, it's just really good stuff. And then you just update it to go along. Just have go on.
I am noticing, Alex, I know it's free practice free, don't read in too much into it. Alexander Albon, P6.
Yeah, really
Only
impressive.
3/10 off of Russell. Williams are looking very good this weekend.
Do you want me to say this is like that Albon in a Williams is ahead of Hamilton in a Mercedes? Is that too soon?
That is embarrassing. Well, that's embarrassing, but
Also ahead of both Ferraris, 9th and 10th, Leclerc and Sainz at the moment, but they've ran on medium compound tyres as things stand. Sargent still down in 17th position. Russell, by the way, you might have noticed, has changed from green back to his normal blue, and that is because the FOM and FIA couldn't identify the difference between the lime green and light yellow of Lewis Hamilton in the previous race. As well, so they've had a request to clarify the car number changes, and it's got to be distinct primary, so he's gone to blue as well, while Lewis stays at yellow. Ferrari are actually under the same rule, and that's why Carlos Sainz has gone to the pure white 55 instead of the red emblem he had last year on the 55, compared to Leclerc, who had the black 16, now has the white 16. So there's just a few number changes to make my job really, really hard. So and also they've changed several of the T-cam colours again this year, and just
I've noticed that.
yeah, and they've swapped them again this weekend. So you've got to be a mind reader and have X-ray vision to actually spot who's who out there. Really
You do.
tricky.
You really do. I mean, like, I think I remember that it's usually the yellow T-cam for the first driver, but Lewis and George swapped it last year.
Yeah, and now Lewis has got it back again this year, and George has got a black one. But in pre-season testing, it was George who had the green one, and Lewis had a black one. So it was really hard to see. And
Confusing.
this on the track now, I know it's Charles Leclerc, but if you see the numbers, that's the point, because usually the 16's in a black with a white outline. And it's not the same. Oh, it's just disappeared now, actually, on us as well, up here in the comms box as we get through. I'm trying to get the T-feed operational as well, but temporarily, I need to pop in for a second because I desperately need some drinks. So we're going to leave you with something very interesting that I've been told about, and I wanted to check it out. I believe the F1 TV commentary feed is in somewhat operational somewhere along the line, and I'm trying to get it active.
Oh.
Because if it is, I want to hear from Alex Jakes and Jolyon Palmer, who are currently in the commentary box as well, and get their thoughts on things, because they are, of course, the Channel 4 commentators. And if you're in the UK, we don't get to hear them, only in highlights. So it's a new deal that came up this year, and I wanted to try it out, but unfortunately, it's not going to let me. So that's really annoying to come through. But tell you what, though, Jess, did you see any of the Channel 4 highlights? Do you keep across of it? I watch them, but only on very quick stuff. Do you watch them all?
If it's a good race, I watch the Channel 4 highlights again to see how the Channel 4 guys would commentate on it. Like, I watched Brazil because obviously George Russell won his first race. I'm a big fan of George Russell, so I wanted to watch that back. I am a George Russell fanboy because I started watching him in F2 because it was my first F2 season, 2018, and I liked George's tenacity, and I think it's just nice to support someone from the early days since the junior career. I think you grow with them. I think, and it's a shame Oscar Piastri doesn't have the car yet to compete to do well, but George Russell started on the Williams and it was rubbish. So I think if Oscar can learn from George, it will take time. But I liked Oscar as well when he was in F2. He was sensational. And Victor Martins yesterday in F2, oh my goodness,
brilliant.
Amazing.
I think we've got the radio coming through shortly, if I can press the button and get it on. I don't think they're actually playing it. No, they're not. Well, not a surprise.
The radio is very loud, so I muted it my end.
Yeah, that's annoying and a surprise. But anyway, we're trying to get so many things sorted. Oh, I've just figured out why my iPad wasn't showing the T-feed, because the Wi-Fi was being taken up by the fact that Discord, Snapchat and everything was open. Now, I accidentally opened my notes on the file, and it's actually glad I did because it's reminding me about the PBS NewsHour article that came out about the American company accused of violating sanctions by doing business with the Russian arms industry. Can any of you two guess which American company this is?
I already know, so I'll pass it to Omi. I read that article.
Say again?
No clue.
Oh, I know who it is because I read it.
Go on, Jess. Put us out of misery.
Haas.
Yeah, it's Haas. You can't write this stuff, but it is Haas. Haas Automations have apparently breached the US sanctions on Russia by doing business with them as well. And reading the full transcript here coming through as well about what actually has happened. It's a fantastic article. I'll put the link into the chat as well because they've got loads of comments from people. It's a deep investigation and the video is available too. But basically what has happened is they've been passing off key mechanical components that can be used to create weapons and things like that as well. So the machining techniques. And Haas Automations is owned by Gene Haas. So it could have, if they get violated as well, it could affect the F1 team, it could affect the NASCAR team as well. The Claire's on the radio.
Hi, lost the first shift. Okay, copy.
Oh, no.
Second time this weekend he's done a practice start in the garage in Charles Leclerc, coming out into the pit lane, and the second time he's had problems with that fact. That's absolutely insane. But yes, so I've got the link and I am pasting it now into the YouTube chat. I suggest you all go take a look at it because it is a very interesting issue coming through as well. I've just posted the link in the chat now. Let's go down to the pits.
Weekend.
Indeed it has, Crofty, but further down the pit lane, the other Red Bull owned team, you see this man on your camera, on our camera?
Yeah.
He should be in a race suit. He's not. He's standing here in his city because Nick de Vries, unfortunately, if we come around the other side, you'll see they are changing the power unit as a precaution, so he's not going to get out in this session. Bearing in mind, he's the only driver, I believe, on the grid, Crofty, who's not raced at this track before, because obviously the other rookies have raced here in Formula 2. So I was actually, it's funny, I popped down to see if I could find out what was going on, and couldn't find anyone who would tell me. And so I said, Nick, what's going on? He says, yeah, we've got an engine issue, and I really need some laps, but I'm not going to get it. So, but, you know, he'll have to make up for it in quali. They'll have to probably alter the run program so he gets a slightly longer run at the beginning of qualifying just to get a few laps under his belt, get his confidence back up. He wouldn't have driven the car since yesterday. The track would have evolved. By the time he next drives it, not only would you get the rubber from this session, but we're about to have an F2 race as well. So the track will feel quite different. He will probably start qualifying with a longer run to get going and then have another go later on.
I think I've lost Jess and Omi. Can you hear us, guys? No. Answer came there, none. I think the internet has had a little bit of a moment there and it's all shut down. So I'll get them back. Meantime, Perez is closing there as well on the circuit. Sorry, guys, no idea what happened there. As we're coming in, let's see if I can get the camera back on. There we go. Coming back in. So yeah, problem there for the Nick de Vries, an engine issue. They're going to have to change him back going into the next session. And I have posted the link in the Discord as well as was asked to do so by the Little Owl. And let's have a quick look as well. I'm obsessed with notes. Mine are the people's. Obsessed. It's not healthy, says Matthew. Matthew, I shall post my notes in the Discord as well in the commentators chat for you to take a look at. Esteban Ocon has had a moment down at turn 9, 10, 11. And whoa! Ooh. Same place where Schumacher crashed last year.
How did he survive that?
That is a mega save as well, and I don't know, that's part of the track they've modified heavily, so it looks more like a straight line this year. And I still don't like the fact that the rumble curb's there, because that's what caused the problem last year. You can put all the Tech Pro and safer barrier there you like, but if that is still there, it's still going to cause the problem. Don't like it at all. Omi, coming to you quickly as well. So we've got Alpine 3rd and 4th as well. Surprised about their pace this weekend as well after Bahrain?
Yep, they're looking very, very strong, and yeah, I have a feeling that they're going to have a better weekend this time around. They're looking very strong.
I hope so. I really hope they do. Go on.
Yeah. I kind of feel there might be there might be Mercedes. They had the pace is looking good, but also we can see the two Mercedes also right now on their laps. Hamilton up through the first sector as well.
Russell's been down in both sectors so far. We're just watching him come around the last corner. Hamilton is through turns 17, 18 with the DRS. He's brushing the wall, isn't he?
No, that's George. That's George Russell.
Yeah, Russell across the line and fifth. Yeah, he's brushing the wall, sorry. I was looking at Hamilton. He too was getting close to the exit 17. Jess, what happened with Russell?
Yeah, it was Russell we were on board with, and he was just so close to the wall there. But Lewis PB's in both sectors so far, so he's looking quite good. He's only 7th place at the moment, behind Albon and his teammate Russell. Norris is just behind him there as well. So he's coming towards the final straight now. We'll see. I don't think he's going to beat the Red Bulls, but is it going to be good enough to beat his teammate? The answer to that is yes, it is P4. The first of the Mercedes cars. Well, Mercedes-powered cars, anyway.
So Hamilton bounces back on the soft compound tyre. I'm still impressed with the fact that Verstappen's done his on the hard compound and is still fastest as well. So basically, if you're a Formula 1 fan, you can pretty much turn off. We know who's going to win this weekend at this point. I'm really hoping we get safety cars. Like, really hoping. It's a 100% chance, but... We
haven't had any, only VSCs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting bored. Although the F2 race is coming up soon, that's going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Omi, I noticed you were very much looking... I saw your tweets, actually, about... Oh, 2 seconds.
We're working every hour they can.
My right mirror keeps coming down, says Perez as well. That's, I thought, okay.
Oh.
Can we see it? Yes, look, it's Robin on the side of the car there, just looking on board with it as well, so he has got a little issue.
Magnussen, P7?
Where did that come from in the Ferrari-powered Haas?
Wow. He's beaten both Ferraris.
130, 144, so by quite a margin as well, by about 5
I
tenths.
know they might be on different run plans, but still.
Impressive. I saw your tweets about Formula 2 this afternoon coming up as well. Well, I saw them this morning about this afternoon's race as well. What are you most looking forward to coming in? We've got different pole positions. Crawford with Correa. It's looking very exciting going down towards turn 1.
Yeah, I'm expecting a safety car straight away because it's going to be very tight through the first few couple of corners. The walls are close. I have gone a bit crazy with some of my predictions as well. I kind of think there's going to be a red flag in this sprint as well.
Oh, Matt, you just want to punish me, don't you? Keep talking. That's a possibility. What about the feature? Do you reckon Portier could get the win? Because we've got Bateman starting second for the feature.
Yeah, the ARTs though look so quick, and I think Portier is going to also try and improve position straight away in the feature race tomorrow. So
He's starting third, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, I think.
Yeah. For the life of me, I forgot he was on pole position. So let me just have a look.
Martins.
Yeah, Victor Martins on pole. Yeah. I forgot that, but he had a podium last time actually as well. Victor Martins.
He's going to be fastest. He's improved by 3 tenths. Hulkenberg's now 5th, Piastri 6th.
Watch Alonso.
Yeah,
well.
Fernando's looking mega. If I get my things on there, 32.492 in the first sector. He's done 12 laps in this session, still 19th. So Alonso we're on board with now, coming through turn 13, now 14 as well. 3 driver's eye. I love this camera angle so much. I just wish they'd correct it with the white balance, but this is amazing. It's Jess and Emmy. Oh, well, we lost you again because the connection's gone out, which is always handy. Oh, we're back with you now. Yeah, Jess and Emmy, how close is this to what we see in terms of PSG on boards and the esports? Wish I could give you that because the internet keeps cutting out. So while I try and fix that, let's just listen to Alonso on a push-up lap. Alonso across the line, goes third on a 1:29.606. Guys, are you back? As Stroll goes 5th.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
How close was that driver's eye then to what we see in terms of esports as well and a perception and vision?
Well, most people don't run cockpit, do they? Most people run in TCAM, so I'd like to see more people run in cockpit mode, even though I can't do it to save my life. But I'd like to see some races where we can see it in a cockpit mode for the vision, the immersion. I like that they bring it into more cars this year, actually. I think Alonso lost time somewhere because he was, I think, a tenth quicker than Perez, no, tenth slower than Perez in the first sector, but then he lost it in the middle sector or something. I don't know what sector he lost it then.
And Verstappen,
Max is going faster.
Amazingly, a 1:28.756. He's 3/10 clear of Perez. Yeah, Omi, what about you as well? Because you were saying about watch Alonso and then the internet cut out briefly, but very close stuff going on.
Absolutely. Well, the laps are coming in, but I have a feeling that Red Bull will still be at the edge this weekend, and that's why we're going to need some safety cars to spice it up a tiny bit.
Ooh, you're jinxing things now, Omi.
I'm going to need more stats for F2 at this rate. I'm just going to go print out something.
Oh, it's Bottas.
Oh, and that's...
Oh, is that Stroll in front of him?
Blocked by the Aston. Copy.
Yes, it is Stroll. There he is. Did he put a hand up? No, I thought he might do, actually, giving the fin. But no. So, Piastri goes 5th. Piastri in that Mercedes-powered McLaren.
He's cooking.
Yeah. Piastri. What was it? Is it pastry or Piastri? What do they call him on that Joe? Because Joe goes 8th. The track's getting quicker. This is getting a bit treacherous now. We've got Verstappen, Albon, Sargent, Gasly all in the same part of the track. Down at turn 13, you can see on the driver track it's getting a bit too close for comfort now with 13 minutes to go in the session. This is the problem. It's like Macau, this track. It's pretty much single file through the corners and then it just opens up on the straights. It's an overtaking opportunity, yes, but getting a clean lap in is insane. It is like a bobsleigh run, a bit like Formula E's other race in Saudi Arabia in Diriyah. Gasly's lost a bit of time there, actually.
Yeah, but he almost got quite one of the cars going slowly there. It's the apex are very... You can barely see him when you're going too fast. I think you only have to slow down just to see him at the moment. There's some bits that could be quite dangerous. So Gasly's 6th at the moment. He was down in the middle sector. He was green in the first. Is he going to be green in the final sector as well? Nope, he's not. He's not improved. He's still in 6th place.
Too much traffic, I reckon. That cost a lot of time coming through there. So Verstappen the fastest, 1:28.756. Perez 2nd, Hamilton 3rd, Alonso 4th. Piastri in 5th, Gasly 6th. I almost said pastry, I really did. Gasly
That's what
6th.
Josh T put in the chat.
Yeah, I was reading it at the same time. That's what it was a bit of a thing. This is Lando Norris coming into turn 9, getting blocked by the Red Bull.
It's dangerous what these guys do. They need to use a radio or something. There could have been a massive crash.
That's Jeddah for you.
Yeah, it's Max Verstappen as well, so they're teammates in esports. Oh, look, sorry, he just said, and then they just blocked the two Williamses.
Oh, no.
Max, look at this, he puts his hand out saying, sorry.
And then he didn't realise the two... Wait.
Apologies.
Okay, so Max is angry at his race engineer for putting him in that position, says sorry to Lando, and then blocks Sargent and Albon.
Uh-oh. Let's hope he doesn't get penalised or something. That's a very weird situation. Purple middle, first sector, Max Verstappen. What a surprise.
I think I might just leave the rest of the year, to be fair, at this rate. I mean, it's not...
See you in 2024.
Yeah, bye, all out. Drop the headset on the floor, that's it, go. Focus on MotoGP. Although that looks...
That's why I was echoing a little bit there. Purple middle sector again. We're seeing Lando Norris on a lap, actually. He's green in both sectors so far. So he's kind of sitting 16th, if I can read the timings. Yeah, 16th. He's on the soft compound, the tyres. The Ferraris haven't done much running at all, but Norris comes to a line, P6 for the McLaren. I wonder if McLaren have done some setup changes since yesterday as Verstappen goes and sets the timing feels a lie. He wasn't purple in the final set today. But yeah, McLaren's there. They're looking like to do better today, and I'm very impressed. I'm hopeful that they can get some points, but I can only hope and pray.
Amy?
Yep, absolutely. We're just currently watching Science as well in the car, but as you mentioned, Ferrari not getting a lot of running in. And I think AlphaTauri not having a good session either. With obviously, De Vries is not able to participate, and Tsunoda right at the bottom as well.
Here comes Alonso. Alonso on a quick one at the moment. He's not purple, but is he going to beat one of the Red Bulls? No, but he goes third fastest.
That puts...
And look at the gap between the Red Bulls and everybody else, Josh.
Oh, my God. He's 0.4 of a second quicker than his own teammate. 0.8 quicker than the two Astons. This is...
Wow.
This is what 1988 must have felt like, with the two McLarens dominating everything until they took each other out. Oh, this is just...
Oh, yeah, I remember that. It's Senna versus Prost.
Yeah, although Perez is just... It's more Schumacher-Barrichello, isn't it? Because Perez is not going to go, oh, turn 8 involving Norris and Verstappen reviewed. No further action for impeding. So it did get looked at, Jess. We just didn't see it pop up on the timing screens. Oh, yes, it was. At 14:18 UK time, it popped up as well. Whistles. In comes the Haas of...
Hulkenberg
Yep.
or Magnussen? Hulkenberg.
Hulkenberg, I see that she's on the wheel there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking around the car seeing where can I see Hulkenberg's name, and it was just another thing. Someone zoomed in a bit too close there. Sargent's done 15th fastest time actually across the line there, 1:30.230. So they've gone for the glory runs in the afternoon, well, in the end of this session, and it's just made everybody feel really depressed. But we are on for all 6 sessions of practice being exactly the same.
Exactly the same 3 drivers, Verstappen, Perez and Alonso. I'm still on the Alonso hype train though. Please, I want Alonso to get a win this season, please.
Oh yeah, I think everybody wants that. I know, Jess, I don't know if you've commentated with Megan yet, actually. I don't think so.
I don't think I did.
Yeah,
No.
on the last day, because I think I placed you with me on the last day, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
That was it. So,
No, I didn't. I was with you. Sorry. Yeah.
I couldn't remember. But Megan, the ultimate Fernando Alonso fan, the ultimate.
I love that. I love to see people's admiration for certain drivers as well. Black and white flag for Alonso. Failure to follow race director's instructions.
Did we mention his name, Tweet? Oh no.
Oh no. Sorry, Megan, if you're watching this back.
Well, that's it. I can never leave the commentary box now. Okay, well, the positive is that at the moment she can't come anywhere near me, which is fun. Right, okay. That's a commentator's curse. That'll go on TikTok. Verstappen ahead of Perez, Alonso, Stroll, Hamilton the top 5 with 7 minutes to go. We've got half an hour, I think, isn't it? Oh, let's go down to Karun, McLaren with Piastri.
Yeah, from Oscar Piastri. And I think this is the same approach he's applied in Bahrain, which is just build up to it. You know, we heard James Vowles saying that's what he said to Logan Sargent. And another rookie, same thing. Friday, get there, get within a couple of tenths. And today he's done a great job, hasn't he? Just 8 thousandths of a second away from Lando Norris. And we know how good Lando is here. Hopefully he can carry this form on into qualifying. There's a bit more of a buoyant mood. He's come back in the pits, and actually throughout the session, it doesn't look like they've had to do a great deal of work in terms of setup with the car. So yeah, pretty buoyant down here at McLaren for a change.
Thanks, Karun.
No, Karun, I need you to talk longer.
You're eating, Josh.
I was trying to swallow a soother sweet so that I can keep going. So that was annoying. Right, there we go.
Both Ferraris are out now. They're both on the soft compounded tyres, so they're doing their glory runs now. So, they're closing in 17th and 18th. They must have done race runs, though, for most of the session. They're going to leave the glory runs to the end, it looks like. So, come on, Ferrari. Get up there near the top. That would be lovely, because they were so close in quali pace, at least.
I think you're right, Jess, by the way. If he gets another one, it will be a penalty, won't he? For something like maybe penalty points added and a grid penalty?
No, I think track that is not for track limits, but I think I read somewhere track limits don't count towards penalty points anymore.
Oh, that's true,
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
Which I like actually, because it's just otherwise you get to like the band of penalty points very, very quickly. And Gasly was it Gasly that almost got a race ban?
Yeah,
because he got so many
yeah.
penalty points for track limits. So yeah, I'm relieved that that's not happening this time. But I wonder what race director instructions Alonso failed to follow.
I'm
Does
desperately
it say somewhere?
I'm desperately trying to have a look in the notes, and the only thing I can think it comes to is Article 55.14, which was in accordance to avoid the likelihood of accidents before the safety car returns to the pits from the point at which the lights of the car turned up. But I can't see why. If it's like the minimum time between the two pit lane lines, if he's gone over it or something, like he's too slow on the in-laps. But yeah, because they must set the maximum
it's
time.
not telling me at all.
No, nothing here either. And I'll have to see when the penalties get applied later. Testing of double yellow flag delta during virtual safety car for practice 1 and 2. So that's why we had the virtual safety cars yesterday. That's in the new event notes, by the way. Having a look, there's nothing I can see as to why there would be a penalty being applied. The only thing I can think of is that Alonso was too slow on the in-lap. Yeah, Josh is saying the same. Time between safety car lines. Because that's the only thing. And that was Race Director's Notes 4.1. In order to ensure that cars are not driving unnecessarily slowly on the in-laps, and after the end of qualifying or during reconnaissance laps, when the pit exit is open for the race, drivers must stay below the maximum time set by the FIA between the safety car lines shown on the pit lane map. You will be informed of the maximum time after the second free practice session. I think the time is somewhere like 3:14 on the board, because I'm not seeing anything at the moment on the lines here in the comm box. Sergeant.
Someone left
My seat is so hot, says Sergeant, and they say copy back.
Aww.
Well, Logan is going to have a logo imprinted on his behind, it seems. Go on, Naomi, I heard you were saying something.
No, don't worry, I wasn't. I was just reacting.
So Leclerc is coming up to the line now, and it's going to be only 10th spot. But I do believe he's going to be doing another lap after that. Same with Sainz as well, but they're way off the Red Bulls and the Astons at the moment. Even the Mercedes are beating them right now as well. And Gasly, is it Gasly in 8th? Yeah. It's Gasly in 8th, yeah.
So Ferrari really struggling, and Sainz only goes 10th. So they are exactly where they've been all weekend long. Practice 1 and 2, it was 10th and 11th for Sainz, and it was 9th and 10th in practice 2. Now it's 10th and 11th again in practice 3. And this is Leclerc at 22, getting on the exit curb, and a lot of things getting kicked up the other spikes. That does the floor a lot of damage.
It does. I've done that once when I was racing with simulation damage before, and if you hit that curb, then it gives you a lot of side pod damage, let's just say. So I don't know why Leclerc did not avoid that, but we got one Alfa Romeo on track. Is that Joe Guanyu on the track at the moment, who's currently sitting in P12 at the moment, ahead of his teammate, believe it or not, at the moment.
Yeah, Bottas had a bad weekend. I mentioned it in the TikTok wrap-up we did last night. Bottas, previously here, yes, he's finished on the podium in 3rd back in 2021, but he retired last year due to overheating issues, and it's a pretty much a bogey circuit for him, and he is struggling down in 18th position with Tsunoda 19th and De Vries 20th. So as you said, Omi, bad session for the AlphaTauris, not a great weekend for Alfa Romeo either. But Zhou is being delightful at the moment with 12th position, right behind the Ferraris. It's a Ferrari, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 17 with the powers. And then we got with 18 with Bottas. God, it feels like 2018 all over, or 2019 all over again with... Oh, hang on, that's why they're not talking, because the headset's gone off again. Isn't that always fun when you're talking to yourself? There we go. There we go, yeah. Isn't it always fun when you're talking to yourself? Yeah, the internet seems to be struggling a little bit, actually, as OBS is having a bit of a meltdown and crash as well, with 1 minute to go of the session. I'm quite scared to press the button, because sometimes our audio can still be heard, but the video needs time to catch back up again. So we'll just keep talking. Here is Joe, actually, guys, on the circuit. Has he made a mistake?
Final few corners. Oh, that's an AlphaTauri.
What the this guy doing, man?
That's Sonoda because De Vries is not out.
Yeah.
So it's Sonoda.
A lot of issues there, as I think we've completely frozen at the moment as well on our screen. So we'll try and get you back operational. But with 33 seconds to go of this session, I'll move over to Battle Cam. And yeah, we've gone off again. So the internet seems to be having a bit of a paddy this afternoon. If you can still hear us, we're still going. As we'll just clean things up with 12 seconds left of the third practice session here. I think we're all back again. Yep, Yuki. 3, 2, 1, and the checkered flag is out. Don't know what's happened to the internet. Going all wrong. Max Verstappen, though, with the checkered flag out, tops the session. Oh, we can still hear you. Ah, thank you, SHT, for confirming that you can still hear us. That's something at least coming through as well. Jess Novi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
No idea what's happened with that internet, but it seems to have all quietened down now after having a bit of a paddy. Probably someone's tried to do something in the front room with a fire stick or something, which usually... Actually, I can confirm that. It's 2:30, so someone's probably trying to get the football on or something. So apologies for that. We'll keep off cameras for now, as Leclerc's looking quite strong. Touching the curb again, Jess, but 6 tenths down.
Yeah, I think that would put him, around about Hamilton Norris territory at the moment. He's going around about 332 miles an hour. He's going towards turn 27 now, where he used to enable the DRS here, but they've put it at a later place to avoid the tactics they've done for the last 2 seasons. So this looks like a better lap for Leclerc. P6, around about what I was expecting, but still quite not up to the pace of the Astons and the Red Bulls. We've got signs on the lap as well. Green in the first sector, yellow in the middle sector. So you have to have a really good final sector in order to do so. We've got a few people crossing the line to finish their session. I think Alonso's not going to get a lap done in time to try and beat the Red Bulls, so it might stay as it is. Sainz only 10th fastest, so his teammate beating him there. That looks like practice done.
Yeah, it does, as well as it comes through. Yeah. And Omi, what do you make of it then from that session?
Well, Red Bull looking strong as usual. Ferrari a bit in the mud, let's say. Well, actually very much in the mud. So yeah, and basically Ferrari-powered cars looks like we're getting the straight performance graphic now.
Yeah, so it's Verstappen, surprisingly the quickest. Hulkenberg third, ahead of Alonso is interesting.
Sargent!
Sargent's 5th fastest on the straights.
Nice. Go on, Sergeant Logie Bear.
I was about to say.
As Tommy from Map P1 Tommy likes to say. He likes Logie.
Did you nearly say WTF1, Jess?
No, I nearly said WTF1, but no, they're not in WTF1 anymore, but yeah.
Yeah.
6 tenths. Verstappen to Perez, oh my goodness.
And Max Verstappen takes pole position for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Break. And Max Verstappen wins in Jeddah. There we go. We've done the drive to survive bits.
Pre-recorded.
Yeah. Pre-recorded. I can have the day off.
And Red Bull have won the Constructors' Championship.
It's once, twice, and 3 times a champion for Max Verstappen. And just to appease Team LH, Max Verstappen is world champion for the first time. And then for the Dutch fans, Max Verstappen is world champion for the 3rd time.
Super Max.
Yeah. I think we've covered every demographic there. Oh, hang on, for the Americans. Oh, Logan's. Oh, we've gone off. I don't know what's going on with this map book this afternoon. I think like a restart in the next 20 minutes or so is very much needed. And you're back, hello. Right, considering we're 20 minutes away and the practice starts are on, guys, I think we're very much on the alert now. So I'm going to gingerly press button 2 and say, what's been your moment of practice 3, and who do you think will start with pole position? We'll go to you, Jess.
McLarens are looking a lot better, which is really, really good. Red Bull's obviously way up high at the moment. Ferraris need...
Oh no, don't go now! Oh, the internet's gone off again. The connection to the map book is hang on, I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi on as well, just in case that might help it temporarily, just to get us to the end. Right, go on, Jess. We've got Wi-Fi as well this time, so we shouldn't go off. Go again.
Hey, I'll say it again, because you probably didn't hear it. McLaren looking good this session, a big improvement. Red Bull's on form again, same with Aston Martin. Ferraris need to step up, I think, in order for them to challenge Red Bull and Aston Martin for pole today. And Lewis Hamilton looking a lot better in terms of time today compared to yesterday.
Omi, what about you?
Well, pretty much the same as Jess. Like, Ferrari do need to step it up quite a bit. Red Bull looking strong as usual. McLaren.
Oh, it's gone again. This is just getting annoying now. I apologise. So we'll go back to Omi just after we do the session results.
Starting Q3.
We'll have
You
to.
need to say it again.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, Omi, just after the session results. Verstappen fastest, from Perez second, Alonso third, Stroll fourth, Hamilton fifth, Leclerc, Norris, Piastri, Gasly, Sainz round out the top 10. Russell 11th with Zhou 12th, Hulkenberg 13th, Ocon 14th, Albon 15th, Sargent, Magnussen, Bottas, Tsunoda round out the runners, with De Vries stuck in the pit lane, not doing anything as well. Go on, Omi, quick, because I'm scared about the internet.
Yeah, do you want me to repeat it all?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, pretty much the same as Jess. McLaren, Alpine doing better. Ferrari do need to step it up. Red Bull on top as usual. I'll give you two predictions: Verstappen pole and Logan Sargent Q3.
Fantastic.
Ooh.
That's a great one. Well done, Omi. That was fantastic. My thanks to you, Jess. My thanks to you, Omi, as well. Great debut for you. Jess, I'll see you in the race. Omi, I'll see you hopefully in Australia at some point just after in Baku. For everybody, thanks for joining us. We're on air in around about 20 minutes' time for Formula 2. Straight after that, it's qualifying as well. Don't miss it. And then join me, Jess, back again with the box tomorrow. We're on air 4 p.m. for the race. Lights out at 5 as well. It's all going to be fantastic. And you can join us straight after for the weekend review as well, which is kind of like Ted's notebook and the forum all smashed up into one. We'll see you later. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.